Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION World is One. I'm Adya Juneja, and this is Speed News. Let's start with all the stories making headlines today. US Vice President J.D. Vance says the US and Iran have made strong progress on a ceasefire extension deal, though President Trump has yet to approve it. Well, he added that the war has put US in a position to significantly set back Iran's nuclear program, not just during the term of President Trump, but over the long term. US President Donald Trump says Washington holds overwhelming leverage in ongoing negotiations with Iran, warning that military action remains on the table if diplomacy fails. Trump said any agreement would need to meet US conditions, adding that the United States has the upper hand in talks. He said Iran's negotiators are very good, but argued that US has all the cards, pointing to past US military strikes as having weakened Iran's nuclear ambitions. US Secretary of War Pete Hegseth trained with soldiers stationed on the USS Boxer in Singapore ahead of his diplomatic meetings with international leaders at the Shangri-La Dialogue this weekend. China's rapid military modernization and assertiveness in the Indo-Pacific and growing concerns over American priorities are top issues on the table at Asia's premier defense summit. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he has ordered the military to expand control over the Gaza Strip, initially aiming to seize up to 70% of the territory. Speaking at a conference in a settlement in the occupied West Bank, Netanyahu said Israel currently controls around 60% of Gaza and that operations would be intensified. He said the military is squeezing Hamas from all sides and that further territorial gains would follow soon. Netanyahu's statement comes despite a US-brokered truce, which was announced in October and has failed to halt ongoing hostilities or secure Hamas disarmament. Flames engulfed a warehouse in Khan Yunis after it was struck by an Israeli airstrike. Civil defense crews rushed to the scene but struggled to contain the blaze as fire tore through the structure. The strike comes amid an ongoing escalation in Gaza, where Israeli military operations continue across large parts of the territory. Israel has stepped up its military offensive in Lebanon with deadly airstrikes in Beirut. The latest airstrike hit an apartment building in Shuafat, near Lebanon's international airport. The Israeli military confirmed carrying out what it called a precise strike. According to Lebanon's health ministry, a woman, her infant daughter and a Syrian child died in the attack, while at least 15 others were wounded, including women and children. The strike signaled a widening of Israel's offensive beyond southern battle zones. The United Nations has added Israeli and Russian security forces to its blacklist of parties accused of sexual violence in conflict. The annual UN report documents alleged abuses in conflict zones around the world and says reported cases rose sharply in the year 2025. Israeli forces were included for the first time in the report's more than 15 years of history over the treatment of Palestinian detainees. Israel has denied the accusations. Russian armed and security forces were also added to the blacklist for alleged sexual violence against prisoners of war and civilians detained during the war in Ukraine. Both Israel and Russia have been warned by UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres last year that they could face inclusion on the blacklist. Ukraine's Navy has reported that Russian drone strikes sparked a fire on board a cargo vessel bound for Turkey after it had departed the Ukrainian port of Odessa. According to the Navy, at least 2 crew members were wounded on the Vanuatu-flagged cargo vessel, which had Turkish owners. The incident underscores continuing security risks to commercial shipping in the Black Sea region amid the ongoing conflict, with civilian maritime traffic increasingly exposed to military activity. Romania's foreign ministry accuses Russia of a serious and irresponsible escalation after a drone struck an apartment building inside its territory near the border with Ukraine. Foreign ministry says it has requested NATO to accelerate the transfer of anti-drone capabilities to Romania. A Blue Origin rocket owned by Jeff Bezos has exploded during a hot fire test on a launch pad at Cape Canaveral in Florida ahead of a planned launch. Well, the company said an anomaly occurred during testing but confirmed all personnel are safe and accounted for. A video from the site shows the rocket erupting into a fireball after smoke was seen beneath it. Officials said there were no injuries and an investigation is now underway. A massive fire tore through an apartment complex in Dallas, Texas after a suspected natural gas explosion triggered a partial building to collapse. Nearly 100 firefighters rushed to the scene, battling heavy flames, and thick black smoke was seen as crews searched for possible victims trapped in the rubble. Officials say firefighters were responding to reports of a gas leak when the explosion occurred. At least 4 people were injured, while rescue operations have now shifted to recovery efforts. Emergency crews in Galveston, Texas carried out a complex rescue operation on Thursday evening after the Iron Shark roller coaster at Pleasure Pier came to an abrupt halt. 7 riders were left stranded when the train car stopped, prompting a swift response from local authorities. Rescue teams deployed a crane to reach the stalled car, carefully removing passengers one by one. The Galveston Fire Department's Tower 1 engine was positioned on the pier to support the operation, while the amusement park was closed to ensure public safety. Officials confirmed all riders were safely rescued without serious injuries. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado says she is ready to negotiate a democratic transition in Venezuela following the ouster of former President Nicolas Maduro. In a statement from Panama, Machado called on the United States to support what she described as a serious and responsible negotiation process aimed at restoring democracy. She says the goal is to hold a free, transparent and fair presidential election. Guatemala has requested expanded cooperation with the United States military in the fight against drug trafficking. The request includes access to equipment, training and expert support for Guatemalan security operations. Officials say the arrangement will not allow U.S. military operations on Guatemalan soil and remains within existing bilateral agreements. President Bernardo Arevalo says he discussed the proposal with U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, along with Guatemala's Defense Minister, to strengthen ongoing cooperation launched in 2024. The government emphasized that there is no agreement authorizing foreign military activity inside the country. Medical workers and ambulances took to the streets of central La Paz in a protest calling for a humanitarian corridor as Bolivia faces nearly a month of road blockades. The march, dubbed the White Coats March, saw medical staff carrying signs reading "There is no oxygen" and "Patients fight to live." Doctors say the blockades are preventing critical supplies from reaching hospitals, including oxygen, medicines, food and fuel. Officials warn that patients undergoing dialysis, chemotherapy and radiation therapy are among those most at risk as the shortages deepen. Some demonstrators also called for the president's resignation. Japan's population has fallen to around 123 million in the year 2025, marking a record decline of 2.5% over the 5 years. This represents a drop of more than 3 million people compared to the 2020 consensus, according to preliminary figures released by the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications. China's Ministry of National Defense has urged the United States to exercise utmost prudence on the Taiwan issue amid renewed tensions over U.S. arms-related policy. Spokesperson Jiang Bin reiterated Beijing's opposition to U.S. arms sales to Taiwan and called on Washington to adhere to the One China principle and existing joint communiques. Well, he referenced the 1982 August 17 communique, which outlined an intention to gradually reduce U.S. arms sales to Taiwan. The remarks come as Washington reviews defense funding and security initiatives linked to Taiwan. China warned that such actions could undermine stability in China-US relations. South Korean troops conducted live-fire exercises near the border with North Korea. The drills took place at the Swangjin firing range in Pocheon, close to the demilitarized zone. Hundreds of military assets, including unmanned combat systems from the Army and Marine Corps, took part in the exercise. The training highlights ongoing military readiness in the heavily fortified border region. Indian origin teenager Shrey Parikh has won the 2026 Scripps National Spelling Bee in the United States after a tense tie-breaker round in Washington, D.C. The 14-year-old from California defeated fellow Indian origin finalist Ishan Gupta in a fast-paced spell-off after both contestants remain unbeaten in the traditional rounds. Parikh spelled 32 words in 90 seconds compared to Gupta's 25 to claim the coveted Scripps Cup trophy and a $50,000 check prize.
Shrey, you are the 2026
Meta has increased funding for its independent Oversight board, which reviews complex content moderation cases across Facebook and Instagram. The support will help run its operations through 2028, though the exact amount has not been disclosed. The board continues to guide Meta on issues like misinformation and free speech, as social media companies face growing pressure to manage online content more carefully while using AI tools. Anthropic has expanded its presence in Europe by opening a new office in Milan, its sixth location on the continent, as the company looks to scale operations globally. The AI startup plans to triple its international workforce to meet rising demand for its cloud large language models. The Milan office will focus on sales, marketing, and technical support. The expansion comes as European companies rapidly adopt AI tools, while policymakers continue discussions on regulations and AI safety standards. Chinese drone maker DJI has told US lawmakers that an independent cybersecurity review found no evidence of security risks in its products and has urged Washington to lift restrictions on its newest drones. The company said a US-based firm found no data transmission outside the US or hidden backdoors, though some low-risk issues were identified. DJI is challenging the FCC ban that blocks new models as US-China tensions continue over drone security concerns. Anthropic has released Opus 4.8, the latest version of its advanced AI model available at the same price as the previous release. The upgrade comes just 41 days after Opus 4.7, reflecting a faster development cycle amid rising competition from OpenAI and Google. The model is designed to better flag uncertainties and avoid unsupported claims, while a new dynamic workflows feature helps manage complex multi-step tasks across large systems and code bases. EQT, a Swedish private equity firm, has partnered with Google Cloud to accelerate AI adoption across more than 300 companies in its portfolio. The collaboration will give firms access to tools like Google's Gemini Enterprise Agent, along with cybersecurity services and early access to future AI products. Google engineers will also work with EQT's AI team to support deployment as demand rises for AI integration across industries such as healthcare and enterprise software. Asian markets moved higher in early trade as investors balanced fresh military activity involving Iran against signs of a possible temporary agreement between Washington and Tehran to ease their 3-month conflict. Japan's Nikkei and South Korea's Kospi led regional gains, while optimism from record closes on Wall Street also supported sentiment. Technology stocks remained in focus, while US markets closed at fresh record highs overnight, with the S&P 500 and Nasdaq extending gains as investors continue to pour into major tech shares despite ongoing geopolitical uncertainty. Oil prices slipped slightly as markets reacted to reports of a possible US-Iran ceasefire extension and a potential agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Despite the decline, prices remained volatile after US Vice President J.D. Vance said Washington and Tehran were close to a deal, though key issues still remain unresolved. Crude and US oil benchmarks are still headed for sharp weekly losses after swinging widely on changing signals around the 3-month conflict and global supply risks. Gold prices moved slightly higher as investors assessed reports of a possible US-Iran ceasefire extension and monitored the outlook for US interest rates. Markets remain focused on inflation concerns after recent energy price spikes linked to the conflict, with Federal Reserve officials warning rates could stay higher for longer if inflation does not ease. Gold also found support from strong demand in Asia, with China's gold imports rising sharply in April. The US dollar weakened against major currencies and is heading for a weekly loss after reports that Washington and Tehran reached a tentative deal to extend their ceasefire and reopen shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, easing geopolitical tensions, reduced demand for the safe haven dollar, while currencies like the euro, yen and New Zealand dollar gained ground. However, investors remain cautious as the proposed agreement still awaits final approval, and concerns over inflation and US interest rates continue to weigh on markets. Brazil superstar Neymar is a major doubt for the five-time Winners' Cup World Cup opener. Fresh scans on his right calf has revealed that the 34-year-old has a grade 2 muscle injury. Brazil's top scorer is going to be sidelined for up to 3 weeks, which means Neymar will not play in his country's upcoming friendly matches against Panama and Egypt. He is also a major doubt for their tournament opener against Morocco on 13th of June. Four-time Grand Slam winner Naomi Osaka has moved into the third round of the French Open for the first time in 7 years. The former world number 1 beat Croatia's Donna Vekic 7-6, 6-4. She will next take on American teenager Ivan Jovic as both players attempt to reach the last 16 at Roland Garros for the first time. Osaka's run to the US Open semi-finals last year is the only time she has made the second week of a major since her last Grand Slam triumph at the 2021 Australian Open. Tom Hanks and Tim Allen walk the red carpet in London for the premiere of Toy Story 5. The beloved franchise returns with another adventure. Well, this time the gang takes on a new challenge, which is the growing world of electronics and digital distractions in children's lives. The film also stars John Cusack and Greta Lee. The global release for Toy Story 5 is set for June 19th. Indian actor Amir Khan has reportedly locked his next film. He will be filming a sports drama with Ashutosh Gowarikar based on the iconic 1952 India-Pakistan Test series. Well, the project has now moved ahead of the much-talked-about Three Idiots sequel, which is expected to begin around mid-2027. And according to reports, the sports drama was given priority because the script is ready and pre-production is already moving forward. Japanese rock legend Yoshiki is returning to the US stage this summer after undergoing major spinal surgery in 2024. Yoshiki will perform 2 special nights at Los Angeles' Walt Disney Concert Hall in July, titled Scarlet Night and Violet Night. The shows will reflect different emotional phases of his recovery journey from pain and struggle to hope and healing. The concerts will feature a mix of classical music, rock and orchestral arrangements. Musician Jack White is stepping into the art world with his first public exhibition in London titled These Thoughts May Disappear. The show features sculptures, installations, furniture and artwork created using found objects like traffic cones, wooden pallets and even toy cars. Before becoming a rock star with the White Stripes, White actually worked in upholstery, something that now finds a place in his artistic style. The exhibition will run until September 13th. Karan Johar left social media users surprised after unfollowing several big names on Instagram, including Shah Rukh Khan, Ananya Pandey, Kartik Aaryan and Manish Malhotra. The sudden move quickly triggered online speculation, but the filmmaker later clarified that it was simply part of a digital detox and not something people should read too much into. And finally, Broadway's biggest night is also promising a big feast. The Taste of the Tonys event in New York offered a preview of the food and drinks that will be served at the official after-party following the 79th Tony Awards. Restaurants including Luke's, Naro, Jupiter and 5 Acres showed special dishes ahead of the award ceremony on June 7th.